Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll show you how to build a survey using Google Forms. Google Forms is a great and free platform to build survey, and it's also user friendly. In order to build the survey using Google Forms, you need to have a Google account. So after you create your Google account, you can log in to your Google Forms. And you'll see the screen. I have several surveys from before, but you'll see the top screen here. You can use any of the templates that are available from Google Forms. I'm going to show you how to start a new one. So click on the blank. And this is the title of the survey, so I'll just call it survey here. And it should update the title up to. First, you can start writing your first question, and I'll type age. Google Forms has a smart way of figuring out your question, and it can give you the potential answer options. So here it recognizes that age, the answer is a number. So it asks if you want a range for your answer. So if you want a range for your answer, you can have is number greater than, less than, or between. Or you can remove the response validation. As you can see here, there are several options for your answer. The age answer should be a short answer, but I'll show you now different examples how the answer could be multiple choice, checkbox, drop-down list, or a grid. You can either make this answer required or not. If the answer is required, the people who are receiving your email will not be able to submit the email if they don't fill this specific question. So it depends on what you're looking for. If this question is necessary for your survey, you can click required. Otherwise, you can just keep it not required. You can delete the question at any time using this delete button. And in order to add a new question, go to the plus sign here and click on it. Let's say our new question is gender. Again, Google Forms recognize that we're asking about gender, so you can use any of the options here, or you can create your own options. So I click male, female, and other. Other means that the responders will choose other and have the option to type something. If you want other options, you can click add option, add option. At any time, you can remove the option by clicking here. You can recognize that Google Forms use the multiple choice for this question because you can either be male or female or other, or prefer not to say. If you want your respondents to choose multiple options, you can use the checkbox. In order to see how the survey would look like from your respondents' view, click on the preview here. And let me show you here. If I try to type text, it says it must be a number. Let me try to answer here 78, and it accepts that. The checkbox allows me to choose multiple options. Let me go back and change that to multiple choice, and you'll see that it will only allow me to choose one option. So if I choose female and then male, I can choose both at the same time. Now I want to ask about satisfaction with the matching process. So let's type here satisfaction. And we can choose the linear scale, which is, you can either choose a short answer in which the respondents will add words. Otherwise, you can choose a linear scale. You can choose from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. An option is to make it clear for the respondents that 1 is the least satisfied and 10 is the most satisfied, or you can just keep it blank. Let me show you how that will look like. So it will show a linear scale and respondents can choose one of these. If you chose to add a few words here, it will make it clearer for the respondents to know that 1 is the least satisfied and 10 is the most satisfied. So this is the linear scale. Let's add a question now that will use the multiple choice grid. Let's say that you're asking your respondents to rank what they look for in a program. So let's type the question, what do you look for in a program? And the rows will show rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3. Let's use the columns, the first one as clinical, skills, research, and the CV. In this situation, people will be able to choose one choice per row. So they can't choose two choices per row. But the problem here is that people can rank the same thing as 1, 2, and 3. In order to avoid that problem, you can choose here limit to one response per column. So now when I choose rank 1 as clinical skills, and I choose the clinical skills as rank 2, it will tell me that please don't select more than one response per column. So I have to choose something else. If you want your respondents to choose more than one column per row, you can choose the checkbox grid. So I can choose more than one column per row. But in our situation, that wouldn't make sense because we're ranking more than one thing as rank 2 or rank 1. If you require a response in each row, click here. Otherwise, keep it to the left side. So this is the main difference between checkbox and multiple choice grid. And if you want one response per column, highlight the answer here. One cool feature about Google Forms is that it allows you to change the route of the survey depending on the answer. So let's say we ask a question regarding research. Do you have prior research experience? And Google is suggesting yes and no. Let's choose that. We can change the route of the survey based on the yes or no question. So let's go here and choose go to section based on answer. Let's create two sections. You can create a section by clicking on this button here. As you hover next to the section, it will show you these options and you can click on add section. Let's call section 2 as publications and section 3 as reasons for lack of research. Let's add the question under publications called how many publications do you have, and make it as a short answer in which people just type the number. And reasons for lack of research, reasons, let's copy paste the same here. And I want to make that as multiple choice. For example, lack of time, lack of interest, and other. Let's go back to the last question here. If your respondents choose yes, I want them to go to section 2, which asks about the publications. And if they choose no, I want them to go to section 3 directly without going to the publications. One thing to keep in mind is that after your respondent answer the publications question, by default, they go to the next question, which is the reasons for lack of research. And it doesn't make sense to ask people about lack of research. They already have research experience. So you can either click submit form here after the section ends. It says after section 2, submit form, which means the survey will end. Or you can create section for both respondents to continue the survey. So let's click on add section. If you notice here, it was named as section 3. Let's call it work experiences. And I want section 3 to come after section 4. So I want to move section. I click here. So work experiences can be section 4. So let's go back here and have a look. We can add a question here asking about, do you have prior work experiences? And you can choose yes and no. So this is section 4. Going back to section 2, I want the respondents to go to section 4 after section 2. So after section 2, go to section 4. After section 3, they go to next section, which is section 4. And I want to double check here that those who respond to yes will go to 2. Those who respond to no will go to 3. Let's preview our survey. Let's try to click on yes and see what shows up. It asks about the number of publications. Let's assume they are 5 and click on next. It asks about the work experiences. So it didn't ask about lack of research. Let's go back and choose no to this question. Click on next. It didn't ask about the publications. It asked about the reasons for lack of research. And you can choose other and type. Or you can choose any of these answers here. And it asks about the work experiences. I want to show you how you get your responses. So whenever you send your survey, you'll get your responses here. So you can see the responses of each individual and collectively. Google Forms create graphs for the responses, which are really cool. If you want to stop accepting responses, you click here, and it will no longer accept responses. Even if people fill it, they will not be able to submit it after you click that. If you want to download your responses, you click here and it will be created in an Excel form. And you can delete all the responses you received. If you want to change the color, you can choose different colors here. And if you want to add an image for the header, you can choose one as well. Let me show you how will that look like. This is how your survey will look like. If you want to change the settings, for example, if you want to collect the email addresses so you can identify who responded and who not, you can collect email addresses. But in this situation, people will be asked to fill their email. You can choose response receipts, which means that the respondents will get a copy of their responses. And it can be either if respondents request or always. You can limit the number of times people can fill your survey to 1 time per person, but this would require them to sign in using their Google account. You can make it as a quiz, so people get a grade after they fill the survey. How to send the survey? There are different ways. The easiest is to get a link, and you can create a shortened URL, and you can just copy that link in an email you send. Otherwise, you can send it from the Google Forms itself. So you copy paste the email of the person you want to send it to and type the subject of the email and the message. Add collaborators will allow other people to change the survey itself. So unless you want them to go and change the questions or change the order, don't add collaborators. Just add the emails here. You can add collaborators from here too. That's going to bring us to the end of our tutorial today about Google Forms. I hope the information presented today was helpful. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Malki Assad. Thank you very much for watching and see you in future videos.